Sayulita Wellness, home of your inner peace.
Hi, this is Kaylee from Sayulita Wellness Retreat, and I am here today with Michael, who just finished up his retreat at our center. So, welcome, Michael. How are you today?
Yes, I'm doing well. Yes, I'm still
Beautiful.
in Mexico. I'm still in Sayulita right now.
Beautiful. I was just telling Michael how much I love his room, how beautiful all the decorations are. Well, amazing, Michael. So, do you want to share with us a little bit about why you chose to come to our retreat? Why were you looking to attend a retreat like this?
Sure. Yeah, I'm not a newbie with plant medicine, so I've done before some retreats, and but I haven't never done work with the mushrooms with psilocybin. So I wanted to experience that. I've done ayahuasca before. I've done peyote. I've done like holotropic breathing and things like that. And I did actually have one mushroom experience when I was a student, and I visited Amsterdam, and it was a horrible experience. Like drank some kind of mushroom coffee or what it was, I don't remember, and it was like a really bad trip. And that was in my early 20s. So since then, I never wanted to do mushrooms. But I have, I had been recommended to do psilocybin by several people. And so I finally wanted to give it a try. And I did a lot of research on what would be good places to do because I know from my own experience about plant medicine that the setting is really important, like where you're doing it, the environment, the people around you. And so I wanted to make a choice where this is a really, really beautiful place. And I found several, but Sayulita Wellness was the one I chose because yeah, I also love Mexico. I'm here quite a lot, and I made the right choice. I can say that.
That's awesome. Well, I'm so happy that you reached out. And I know, so Michael's been to so many retreats around the world. He has so much experience. And I would love to hear, Michael, for someone who had so much background and, plant medicine and healing retreats, like what did you feel like you gained from this specific retreat?
Yeah, I maybe I tell a little bit about my background first to give people the context. So
Absolutely.
I've been in the business world for most of my adult life. I've been an entrepreneur. I've been working. I had my own companies, um, and at some point I was really stressed out. I got like burnt out from the job. Although I loved my job, I loved my company, but my nervous system was just overwhelmed. And that was about 6 years ago when yeah, I had this complete collapse of the nervous system. And since then I've been on a healing journey to try out different healing modalities for all kinds of modalities. I mean, I was in the lucky situation I could afford to try the best in the world, the best places. So I went to a lot of healing resorts in Europe. I'm from Germany originally. And so I went to all these famous places like Lanzerhof and Chenot Palace in Switzerland and Maya Life in Austria and Shah Wellness in Spain. And I went to Six Senses and did a lot of retreats with famous people like Alberto Violo and I learned a lot during that, all about the different healing modalities. And then I also tried more the alternative things, like plant medicine, like ayahuasca. And yeah, so I came to understand that plant medicine, or as they call teacher plants, are very powerful healing modality, especially when it comes to things that are unconscious, that you're not aware of. Because when a trauma happens in your life, it can be normal that the mind tries to protect it and doesn't want to go there, and so you're not even aware of it sometimes. Sometimes like something happens and that's a trauma, but sometimes you're not really aware of what is actually going on in the mind. And that's where the plant medicine can be very powerful because they reveal their psychedelic means literally from Greek that it brings out what's hidden in the unconscious in your psyche and it reveals it to you. And that's why I felt called again to do plant medicine. And indeed, it did show me things that I had some hints like, this might be it. But then it really like, wow, I saw it. And it's quite powerful, this medicine, how it can help people bring the things up that then still, of course, you have to work through it, and we can. I mean, normally as adults, we have the capability to go through these things and process it. That a lot of stuff is from childhood even, and then it just gets repeated later in life. In your adult life, you will have a traumatic event, but it's actually a repetition of something much earlier in life, and that just gets triggered. So if you collapse the original one, then everything's kind of like dominoes, and then it collapses, and you're like freed up from this emotional baggage that you're carrying around. So it can be very enlightening, literally in the sense of the word, that it lets your body like, there was a lot of release happening in the retreat.
Beautiful. And I know for you, for the first retreat you did two ceremonies. You did the mushrooms and then the MDMA. So do you want to share a little bit about with the first ceremony, what that experience was like and some of the realizations and, healing and shifts that you had with that first ceremony?
Yeah. So I did two ceremonies. One 3 weeks ago was where we did the mushrooms and the psilocybin. And then afterwards, on the last day, I also did MDMA because that had also been recommended, especially for the nervous system. And then I just did another mini retreat 2 days ago with just MDMA. So that's a very profound healing experience. So let me share the mushrooms. That's the psychedelic. That goes really deep, and you have to let go. I mean, you can't control it. What's happening there? It's good. There's a shaman there, Nirvana, and she's amazing. She knows exactly what's the right dosage for people, and she's guiding the whole thing from a spiritual place, which is very, very good. And then, of course, the whole team is there, and there's someone always watching you, sitting with you while you're in the experience, because the mushroom experience is quite profound and deep and long. So it takes, in my case, I think it was almost 6 hours. Can be 4 to 6 hours, and you are going into your unconscious, and that journey is predictable. You may go to really dark places, you may go to happy places. I had my first experience was actually very happy experience. I didn't go too much. I didn't feel any really bad kind of trip. Like there was nothing compared to what I had in Amsterdam with the bad trip. It was actually a beautiful experience, but still there were some things in my unconscious that came up and that were processed. So it was, and the music was really important. So this is one of the keys that now when they do plant medicine assisted therapy, they use music for that. So you're wearing a blindfold and you're listening to a specific playlist that will guide you through the whole experience. And the music was literally like an anchor for me. And what happens in that during that experience, your sense of time changes. So you experience time totally differently. You lose your sense of normal time, and sometimes the pauses between the songs, you feel it's like 1 hour, which would be like a few seconds. Time slows down, and the music will trigger things. It will remind you of some experience in childhood. It will bring it up, and you're able to process it. And it's like highly visual. It's a very interesting experience for someone who's never done it. It's like out of this world. But you can also connect to higher consciousness. You can connect to out of this world things. It's quite remarkable, quite spiritual. It's a spiritual experience, but it's also a healing experience. But it is also intense because you will face some of your things, some of your stuff, some of your shadow work.
Beautiful. And I know that you described the staff, Nirvana, and the team, but did you feel safe throughout the experience? Like, did you feel really supported throughout that journey?
I felt very safe. The team is really great. They're super caring, and there's a doctor that checks you before, and they're also during the ceremony. You feel like if anything would happen, they have everything under control. There's the shamanic support. There's also the staff that are just there making sure nothing happens. So you feel very safe, and it's also, of course, there's other people, but you have your own room, you have your own space. So that's what I appreciate, that you're not mixing with too much with the other people. You can do your own journey. And then afterwards, on the next day when you do integration, yeah, you can share, and that's also nice to have like someone to share your experience with. But actually, during the experience, you're on your own journey, and that's good.
Beautiful. And of course, the journey's hard and difficult at times, but did you feel like a shift in yourself the day after, or at least some realizations of things you could take forward and continue to work on?
Oh yeah, I had a lot of realizations. I was journaling a lot afterwards, going through all the things that happened. And I mean, for me, the mushrooms were very revealing. I think it can help people a lot with depression and things like that. The MDMA was for me actually more profound than the mushrooms in my particular case, because in my case, the nervous system was the thing I had struggled with, the stuck in the fight or flight mode. And the MDMA was able to get me out of this or kind of reset the nervous system. And it was such a beautiful experience.
Beautiful.
It's not a psychedelic in the classic sense. It's more just it's an empathogen. So it makes you feel full of love for everything, including yourself. And you would just feel very good. It's like, I remember doing the MDA experience, I went down to the beach, and that's one of the cool things about the place is that it has a beach right part of the property. It's like a private beach and a nice small beach with sand, and it's very pristine. So I was there, and during my first MDMA, I was there pretty much by myself. There was nobody on the beach, and I felt like dancing. So I started dancing with my headphone on, and it was like such a blissful experience. And my nervous system was kind of like, yeah, releasing, and I felt like so good, and I felt like shivers and the goosebumps and everything, like the muscles were relaxing, the tension was going away, and I was just with a smile dancing. And then I went into the sand and was just pouring the sand over my skin and over my entire body. And this little the feeling of the warm sand and wrapping myself in the sand, called like sand healing. So not sound healing, but sand healing. That was very, very healing for my nervous system and gave me a reference experience how it feels actually, how good it can feel, and how it feels to be normal in the nervous system. If it's like always in an alert mode and always stressed, then after a while you forget how it's to relax in the parasympathetic state. So this gave me this feeling again, like, hey, this is how you feel when you're relaxed. This is how it feels when it's good. And then it was exactly the right dose, so it was going smoothly out of it, and I didn't feel any hangover or anything afterwards. So it was a very beautiful experience. And then 2 days ago, when I did it for the second time, it was very similar. I was dancing again on the beach. The difference then was that in the end, it became very peaceful, and I was just in a state of total relaxing peace. I got very tired. I slept like a baby afterwards. My body needed that that recovery, that reset apparently. But again, I did like a lot of sand healing in the beach. And this time there were like a whole family, like I think there were like 15 people at the beach, and I didn't care. I was just dancing, and everyone was like, well, who's this weird guy? What is he doing dancing? I didn't care because I was just feeling so good. So it's I remember there were people also in the group who were a bit introvert and shy, but once you do the MDMA, you open up, you become like more open. If any people have social anxiety, it drops away, and you become your natural self again. It's quite powerful.
Beautiful. Yeah, I was going to ask, so have you noticed some shifts in yourself since, the first retreat, and then also since this recent one? Of course, it's very recent that you just had the second ceremony, but since that first retreat or even the second one, have you noticed some, deeper shifts in yourself, the way you perceive the world, the way you're kind of more open with others? Of course, you've done a lot of work on yourself already, but I'd love to just hear how that integration process has been going.
Integration is still ongoing, so it didn't for me. I also want to be open about that. It didn't like you take it and then you're done and you're healed. That's not how it is for me. It's like it more like it shows you where you can do the integration, and then it's like anything. And like you have to take a shower every day and stay and eat clean and do your yoga, and it's the same here. But it will guide you what to focus on. Like in my case, more grounding, connecting with nature, doing somatics. It was also very good. They have before and after the sessions on the days, they have people coming in like yoga and somatic teacher. And there was very good sessions with that. Also, yesterday I did another somatic session, which really helps to get in tune. And now you're much more sensitive to where in the body do you need to work on. Like in my case, I know now, oh, this is the exercise I'm going to do now every day to really stabilize. I think it's important to understand that these experiences can be an activation of something. It can reveal something. It can also get your nervous system or your mind into a specific state. But then it's important also afterwards to stabilize it, to integrate it. And that's the work that you have to do afterwards. So you're not like, oh yeah, I'm going there and then it's done. No, it's just the beginning. So now is the stabilization part, but the medicine shows me to be much more in love with myself and take care of myself. For example, after the mushrooms, I didn't want to drink alcohol anymore. It's just like, oh, I don't like it. It's not good. I didn't feel, and you're feeling like your self-worth. You're taking care of your body more. So that's a good side effect, I think.
Beautiful. Yeah. And I know that something else that you were working on in addition to the emotional piece was like some physical tension. And were you able to have some shifts with the tension releasing in your body or feeling just overall more relaxed as well with that?
I felt a lot of tension released during the MDMA sessions in particular. I still have some tension now, but I feel it's like almost like the onion, like you're peeling away one layer, another layer, and then it's like the tension is now like I feel some tension now here
Yeah.
because there was a lot of tension in my jaw and in my neck, and that has been released. And now some of the other muscles kind of like, oh, they have to, I feel muscles again that I didn't feel. It was all numb. So it's kind of interesting how it has helped to open up and make me more sensitive to where I may be like holding a lot of tension in my, at night, maybe grinding the teeth and holding tension in the jaw a lot. And that is now released. And now it's like, oh, there I can work on here and do a little massage. And so it helps you to become more sensitive to where you have, where you hold stuff, hold emotions, and then you go there and you can do a massage, you can heal. But before it was all like numb and I couldn't even feel it. And I just felt like, oh, what's going on? There's some tension, but I don't even know where it is. It helps you really to understand what's going on in your body, reconnect you with your body.
Yeah, absolutely. I resonate with that completely. When during my mushroom ceremony, I remember my jaw hurt so badly, and you don't have as much sense of remembering the past. I was like, do I always have jaw pain? Like I thought that this is going to be forever or something, and then I realized it was just releasing so much of the tension that I had stored there. And after the ceremony, of course, it's gone as well, but it really showed me to where I was almost holding my breath in my jaw, and so it was really a very good teacher, like you were saying, of like, oh, and then just keep softening and keep softening, and I could feel tension in my heart really releasing it. It moved from the back to the front, and then by the end of the MDMA ceremony, all my heart tension had completed, for that phase. And then when it arises again, I can work with it and soften with it. And so I really do believe it's a great teacher, especially MDMA, for releasing emotions out of the body. When I experienced it, it almost felt like I could feel the feeling, know exactly where it was located, breathe love into that area, and then let it kind of go. And it felt very efficient. It felt like a very efficient way
Yeah,
to.
I did that. Exactly. Someone taught me this technique. It's called resourcing, where you feel into your body. Where is it something stuck energy or stuck emotion, and then you feel in another part of your body where it's like feels already free and healthy, and then you offer that energy to that part, and you're not pushing it. You just gently like offering it, like, hey, look, how does that feel? Would you like to maybe feel that? And if it doesn't, then you do it again next day, next day. And I did a lot of this resourcing during the MDMA session where I felt, oh, here maybe in my throat, there's like tension. You can even see it. Like I put so much, I don't know if you can see it on the video, but like a little red because I put so much, I was massaging it. I put sand there. It's like, yeah, this is so good. There's some knots here that I want to release. And then it was releasing. And then here, and it was very good because it's guiding you in that state, and you feel like opening up. You can do your shoulders open up, you can breathe freely, and you're like, and it's just releasing. Yeah, and you feel like the little shaking in the body, which I've already experienced doing ayahuasca also, where it's like you're releasing a lot through the muscles, like the zebra after it gets attacked, and then it just shake it out. And you have that also, like maybe some people know tremor release exercise, where you have then the legs are shaking, and especially what people are holding in the hip area. So all of that release is happening for hours, and it's like you're barefoot in the sand or even in the water then, and you're just letting it flow, and the earth absorbs all your stuff, and you're giving it back. And like what's no longer needed, you're just releasing it.
That's
And
beautiful.
that's very good, very nice.
That's awesome. Yeah, it is definitely feels like a very like collaborative process. I think sometimes with the mushrooms, it's just a surrendering and a witnessing and a letting go. I think with the MDMA, it feels like you have a little bit more of like room to play with it, if that makes sense. So you're a little bit more of an active participant in that
Yeah.
experience. So
Yeah.
yeah. Beautiful. So, Michael, what would you say to somebody who's on the fence, considering a retreat like this, but like, not quite sure if this is the right thing for them? Like what words of advice would you give to them?
Mm, yeah, I guess the advice can be listen to your heart and not your mind, maybe, because the mind may say, "Oh no, I don't want to do it. I'm anxious." Or what is this? But if your heart says, it will guide you. If it says, yes, this is maybe the right thing for you, and you will be guided. The medicine is guiding us. I believe in the higher consciousness and that everything in the life is happening for us. So if we surrender to this, to the higher intelligence, then it will happen for you. And sometimes you need to take that leap of faith. And of course, do it in the right environment. So pick a place where it's safe, where they have a lot of experience, where you're guided by the right setting. Like this is one of them. I can definitely recommend it. There's others as well, but I mean, now they offer plant medicine everywhere and some fake shamans, so you have to be careful where to do it, or even like doing it on your own or with kind of street drugs. I would never do that. I would always do it in a safe space. But then it can be very profound, as where all the traditional healing modalities may not be able to go there. You may spend years in psychotherapy, traditional therapy, or in with doctors, and they may not be able to get there because it's so deep. And sometimes you need the help. And people have been working with this for millennia, like humans have worked with the help of these plants, and that's there for a reason. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, there's so much wisdom, and it's like that quote, like you don't know what you don't know. And so you have to open yourself up to higher consciousness and higher wisdom in order to have that mirror into those parts of yourself that are sometimes just too difficult for us to see, or those areas where we're so knotted up emotionally or physically. We need help to loosen those and to understand like the root cause of that. So people say sometimes the retreat's like 30 or 40 years of psychotherapy, but they're like, but it's not even equivalent because you may not ever get there with just the talk therapy. Like you really need to be able to have this lived experience of seeing inside yourself. And that's what I think it gives you, that inner sight, right?
Mm.
So, yeah. Beautiful. So, Michael, walking away from these two retreat experiences, like what are you taking with you? Like what are some of the lessons you're going to carry with you forward?
Well, I'm very grateful for the teachings, for the plant medicine and the people also. I feel even more sure now about this higher intelligence that it's guiding us.
Yeah.
So it gives me a lot of peace and trust, and that everything is there for us. So there's less the worry mind that I used to have a lot, like overthinking and worrying, that has calmed down a lot. And I'm looking at life with different lens. Like I used to have these lenses like something's wrong and I'm not safe. And I looked at the world through these lenses all the time, and that caused a lot of stress. Now I'm looking at the world through a different lens, which is more, yeah, everything is happening for me. And when something happens, I know we are in a perfect balance of challenge and support, and challenges are there. yes, there's always going to be challenge because it has to. But these challenges are there for us to grow and to learn. And I look at them from a different perspective now, and I know it's not there to, destroy me or anything. It's there to support me, ultimately also to challenge me and support me at the same time, and to learn. And so this is like, and then you can go into life with this kind of like a child. Hey, you wake up and say, hey, what's going to happen today? And let the magic happen. Let's step into the mystery, into the unknown. But it's going to be an interesting experience. And it's more like Christmas Day. What I'm going to get for the present? What's the universe has for us today? And you're living life with more zest, with more life energy and excitement, and you're living life fuller. Otherwise, I can see so many people, they live in the Western world, like, and maybe successful on the outside, but they're not living a full life. They're like living, they're not really living actually. And then they're at some point they get older and older, and then they wake up at some point. It's like, oh, I missed my life. But sometimes these plants can help us to reconnect and live life really fully. And that's, I think, the biggest gift that you get. You get a second life, basically. Maybe if the first life, for many people, it's the first life, the real life. You start living your actual life.
Yeah.
And that's the biggest gift you can get, I guess.
That made me emotional with what you're saying, because I think that oftentimes when we live in our heads, we live so far away from people. Even when you're next to somebody, when you're in your head, there could be miles between you emotionally, but when you're in your heart, you're in the closest place you could be with that other person. So I feel like that quote, like the closer you are to yourself, the closer you are to other people and to nature and to the world around you. And I feel like there's a whole universe waiting for you. There's a beautiful world waiting for you. But when we live just from our head, like, we need the wisdom of the mind as well. But when we live from this place, there's generally more fear and worry and concern, and it creates more separation and belief that this isn't for me, or life's happening to me rather than life's happening for me, right? So I think that's the most beautiful thing that you said.
Yeah, I had that actually as my intention during the retreat, the first one. My intention was let my heart be my center. And going from here to here, which, some people is the longest journey you will ever make. But if not the mind is the center, but the heart is the center of your being, and then you can use the mind, but it's guided by the heart. That's a whole different way of living. And that helped me to go from here to here, and then realize, oh yeah, the heart has all the wisdom, and it just knows it because it's connected to the higher intelligence. And the mind, yeah, it's a great thing to have a great mind, and I'm training my mind. It's beautiful, but the heart being in the lead, that's when you live your full life.
Beautiful. Absolutely. I agree 100%. Well, any final things that you want to share with somebody who's watching this video who might be struggling, just with feeling depressed or anxious, or even just afraid, like feeling like this is right for me, but I'm scared to try this new.
Well, if people are scared, like I'm also, because I came from so much from the mind, being a very mental person, like trying to understand everything. So what helped me also was to do a lot of research. Like there's a lot of great resources on YouTube. You can watch, like Andrew Huberman, for example, did a lot of interviews about plant medicine, how it's now used in psychotherapy. And you can do that. You can watch, do your homework. And that gave my mind a lot of confidence to say, okay, maybe it's not just some woo-woo stuff. Now there's tons of research that this actually works, and more clinics are using it. In many countries, it's now becoming legal, and because it was for many years, it was kind of like outcast. Oh, you can't work with psychedelics. That's like not good stuff by the traditional scientific community. But now that's changing a lot, and now you can do your research and you can see the results. Like like PTSD, for example, they're using it now to heal people, veterans with trauma, and like this is now proven, and it works better. And when they do the clinical trials, you can see the evidence that it works better than traditional therapy. And so just do your homework, and then your mind will be relaxed about it, and then you follow your heart, and if you feel guided, do it.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Michael, for all your time and your wisdom, and for also being willing to grow as a human and make that long journey back to this place. It's not easy, and but there's so much beauty on the other side when waiting for you, really to enter that space. So, and thank you for bringing us all these beautiful colors behind you, all the little hearts floating above your head.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're
All
radiating.
right. Thank you.
Yes, it's been a beautiful conversation, and I'm so excited for people to be inspired by this.
Good. Enjoy the journey.